Martin Luther King Jr. Introduction. On the third month in January, Americans celebrate Martin Luther King's Day. We honor a great African American leader who worked for freedom for all people. Who is this man who has a national holiday in his name? Growing up in the South, Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia, on January 15, 1929. His father was a Baptist minister and his mother was a teacher. Martin grew up in a busy and loving family. He and his sister and brother studied, took music lessons, and played sports. In the South, African Americans had always lived under laws that were unfair to them. Before the Civil War, most African Americans had been slaves to white owners. During this war, President Abraham Lincoln granted freedom to slaves by passing a special law. But even though the slaves were free from slavery, thousand lawmakers passed new laws to keep them separated or segregated from white people. These laws were called Jim Crow laws, and they deprived African Americans of many rights. African American children went to separate poorer schools than white children. On buses, African Americans had to sit in the back seat. African Americans were forced to use public drinking fountains and restrooms marked for colored only. In earlier days, African Americans were called colored. White people used drinking fountains and restrooms that were marked for whites only. As Martin grew up, he learned from his parents and his teachers that the laws calling for segregation were unfair. African Americans were suffering from not having equal rights. Many of them were poor and could not find jobs. Martin wanted to help the African American people gain full freedom. He wanted to work for civil rights, for full legal, social, and economic equality. Martin was a bright student who went to college near home in Atlanta at age 15. He then went north to continue his religious education. He decided when he was 19 that he would be a Baptist minister like his father. He had read about Mohandas Gandhi, the great leader from India. Gandhi believed in using love, not hate, to stop injustice. Martin decided he wanted to use peaceful, non-violent ways to help his people. While he was up north, Martin met his future wife, Corta Scott. She was studying to become a singer. On their first day, Martin told Coretta he wanted to marry her. He liked her for her beliefs and her commitment to quality, as well as her beauty. In the summer of 1953, they got married. A year later, Martin took his first preaching job at a Baptist church in Montgomery, Alabama. Starting his work in 1954, the United States Supreme Court ruled that the schools could not be segregated or divided by race. The court ordered that schools should be integrated. This meant that all races should be able to attend the school of their choice. With its important ruling, African Americans became very hopeful that they could change society. Martin and other leaders encouraged that people to work together peacefully to win civil rights for everyone, regardless of their race or religion. But some white people were not happy with the Supreme Court ruling. They organized to fight integrated schools. A small secret group of white people called the Ku Klux Klan tried to prevent African Americans from having equal rights. Often their actions were violent. Many other Southern white people, while not violent, were in favor of integration. Many white people were not in favor of integration, and many white people from the South and the North supported integration and full equality for African Americans. December 1955, something important happened in Montgomery, where Martin and his family were living. An African American woman named Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on the bus to a white man. She was arrested. The African American criticisms of the city were outraged, and they decided to protest. They refused to ride city buses because they wanted an end to segregation in the buses. This kind of protest where people refuse a participate in something in order to force a change is called a boycott. It is a peaceful means of protest. Martin became the leader of the Montgomery bus boycott people supported the boycott by walking or carpooling, but they would not ride the buses. For over a year, the boycott went on. The city would not change the segregation law. Many angry threats were made to Martin and his family once their house was bombed. No one was hurt, but Martin now realized that he and his family were in danger. In November 1956, the boycott ended in victory for the African American community. Soon after that victory, the Supreme Court ruled that Alabama could not segregate riders on buses.